Hey, I'm Jay from the Kubz. Welcome back to another episode of me reacting to these true story animations. I have one particular video that caught my eye. We are going to react to it right now. If you guys cool with that, you down with that? Everybody get ready and buckle up, because here we go! The video that we're going to check out on today's episode is called I Used to Be Black, Now I'm White. This story comes from Storytime Animated. Link to their channel will be in the description box below. But I just want to see the story of this person, so let me shut up and let's begin.
Hi, I'm Alma, and I'd like to tell you how I turned from black to white. Everything would change for me one fateful day, though it started so small that no one saw it coming.
Okay.
That morning, I woke up as usual and took a shower. I was soaping myself up when I noticed a lighter spot on my skin next to my navel.
Wait, what? What about the spot on her face? Has it always been there?
I completely freaked out. You see, my skin color was
She had like a
really
big
dark.
ass milky spot on her face and noticed the one on her belly button.
African-American and looked
What?
just like my parents. I had long, curly, pitch black hair and matching eyes.
Long, curly, pitch black hair? That hair is bluer than Papa Smurf's pubes. Are you kidding me?
I dried myself off quickly and threw on the first outfit I could find and rushed downstairs, completely freaking out. My parents were having breakfast downstairs, and they asked why I wasn't wearing my school uniform
That's the most unhealthy
already.
breakfast that
I
I've
showed them
ever
the
seen. Cookies, donuts, burgers, hot dogs, sandwiches, fries. God damn, you trying to die before you reach the age of 30 with that breakfast?
light spot on my belly, asking them what was happening to me. They shrugged it off and told me it was something that could happen, and I shouldn't worry about it too much. It was a really tiny dot, like the size of my thumb.
What?
I breathed out in
I'd
relief.
be freaked out.
I had been so scared.
My Asian
for a
mom would
moment,
have sent me
but the way
straight
my
to 5
parents assured
doctors
me
if
it
I
was
had that kind of
nothing
spot
major
on me.
Made me relax immediately. I had never heard of anything like that happening, so I didn't know how to react. That was until I woke up one morning a week later and noticed the spot had changed. It wasn't as big as my thumb any longer, but larger than my fist. I screamed and rushed downstairs. My parents were
It looks
worried
the
about
same
my
exact
yelp, of
size.
course, and they asked what was wrong. I showed them my
Am I
stomach,
tripping?
and that was when they really began to get concerned as well. A tiny little spot wasn't anything major, but this
Whoa.
was getting bigger
What
and
the
bigger.
heck?
They
thing's
immediately booked
alive.
an appointment with a dermatologist for that very afternoon.
Who's that, Johnny Sins? Oh, and if you don't know who Johnny Sins is, don't look it up. I repeat, look into my eyes, actually go down to my mouth. Don't look it up.
Usually it takes people longer to visit a specialist, but my parents' influence got me to the front of the waiting line
My
right
parents'
away.
influence.
The
I wish I
doctor
had that kind of
examined my
influence.
spot, and he gave us great news. It was
This
nothing
dude
we
just
should
talks to
worry
people
about.
with the
He had seen
stethoscope
these kinds
straight
of
in his
marks
ears?
before. It could
What a
occur
douche
when certain
lord.
chemicals got in touch with the skin, or it could happen naturally due to some minor issues with my genetics. So I shouldn't worry about it. It was again a great relief. Having
Johnny,
a professional assure
Mr.
me that I shouldn't
Sins.
worry put me
The
at
mom
ease
knows
for
who he
sure.
is.
I
Yeah.
still wasn't happy about
Smile on
having
her
this
face.
big spot on my belly, though. I was a teenager and kind of vain, so you can imagine my frustration.
Wait, where did the white
My
spot on
parents
her
told
face?
me I could
What
cover
the?
with makeup if it really bothered me
Come
that
on,
much,
man.
but that I was beautiful no matter what.
Freaking
so I
magician
shouldn't
spot
think too
disappearing
much
and
about it.
reappearing.
I insisted though.
Look, it's
and
gone
so my
again.
mom
It's
taught
not on
me
her
how to use
face.
makeup lens to cover the spot up. I planned on using this technique if I ever wore clothes that revealed my belly. Luckily, as long as I was
Now it's
wearing
back.
a dress or a t-shirt,
Wow. It's like a dad that goes out for the milk and actually comes back.
no one would notice.
Like, you can't believe
I
it.
know maybe I shouldn't have worried so much about it, but the contrast looked so stark. I was so dark-skinned, and then that big, round spot was so pale. It looked like it was someone else's skin altogether. My parents immediately took me to see the dermatologist again. They didn't even book an
Johnny.
appointment. They just dragged me there and
Jonathan
demanded to be seen at
Sins.
once. The doctor was
Wait,
shocked by
who
what
the
he
hell is
saw
this
when I
guy?
showed him my legs and stomach.
Where did he grow all
was
this hair?
baffled. It was clear he didn't know what was going on.
He didn't know what was going on. Where did this guy go to? College, university?
My parents were furious.
You're a doctor.
With him.
You should
he
know
had
these
told them
things.
that everything would be fine, and now his daughter's skin had radically
Yeah,
changed.
I'd be mad like this
They
dad.
threatened with
Yeah,
a lawsuit.
Choke him out.
You can only
Choke his
imagine how
chicken!
angry they were. That's when the doctor called other colleagues, and they began running all sorts of tests on me. Some were innocuous, some were a bit painful, but I endured them all. I wanted to know what had happened to me and how to fix it. A few days later, we received devastating news.
Damn, why his
My
eyebrows look like
condition
that?
was
Looking like Dr.
irreversible.
Evil.
There was nothing we could do about it. My birthday had come and gone without any of us feeling like celebrating. My friends from school sent me messages
so
to
sick
ask
of
where
this
I
spot
was
being
and to wish me a happy
inconsistent.
birthday. I didn't reply to any of them. I didn't feel like talking to anyone. I was so depressed and concerned. My skin was so different from what it had been before. I looked like a completely different person, and there was no way of solving it. I'll be honest, I cried myself to sleep that night.
Wow, that spot is like halfway on her body. Come on, Storytime Animated.
And then the morning arrived. I looked at myself in the mirror, hoping the white mark hadn't spread. I was shocked to see what I looked like. I was white, completely white, from head to toes. Nothing remained of my black
Bro,
skin.
who the hell is that?
I began crying, and it took me a while to
That's
go
a
speak to
paid
my-
actress. Before she looked in the mirror, she was looking like this. Now who the hell is
remained
this?
of my black skin.
Who is this
I began
imposter?
crying, and it took me a while to go speak
Ain't
to my
no way
parents.
she became
I
that
didn't know
freaking
how to
white
show them what
overnight.
had happened. It was as if their daughter was a completely new person. My rare condition had taken over my entire skin. They hugged me tightly when they saw me so upset. They told me they'd always love me no matter what.
Yeah, that looks like the face of parents that will always love you.
After that, I didn't feel like I could ever go back to school. I ended up missing a few weeks, but eventually my parents insisted I return. I had to learn to deal with what had happened to me and face the world around me. I was, of course, seeing a therapist, but that's not a
The
magical
therapist is the
cure.
doctor?
It takes
No wonder he
time
didn't
to
know what the
process
condition
such a
was. He doesn't know
radical
what kind of
change.
doctor he is.
When I got back to school, people didn't recognize me at first. You can only imagine how they reacted when they discovered who I was. Many of the students began mocking me, thinking I had done it on purpose, that I wanted to be white and had paid to get my skin to look that pale.
That's messed
I
up.
tried to explain my condition, but few people believed me. It took me the longest time to accept my new self. I spent entire weeks feeling really depressed, and even getting up in the morning was a
This
struggle.
is actually a really sad
I
story.
didn't recognize myself in the mirror, and I hated looking at myself. I didn't like the way any of my clothes looked on me. I got accepted into the college of my choice, and that did lift up my spirits somewhat. There, though, everyone thought I was white, so they were surprised when I showed them pictures of my parents. People would often ask if I was adopted. At one of my classes, I met this amazing guy, Mark. He was dark-skinned, just like my family. We began dating, and he made me feel happy and complete again. When he proposed to me, I revealed the truth about my condition.
You barely know this
and told him
guy.
that if we ever had
Who is this
children,
blonde-haired
we might
asshole?
Go through the same process. He told me he
And
didn't
it's not
care,
even on her
and
ring
that
finger, man. Fake fiance. I swear, these people in this video are
if
paid
it
actors.
happened, at least we'd know how to deal
That's
with
not her
it
middle
that time
finger.
around. I was
That's
so
an
relieved
FU
he
ring.
wasn't freaked out.
Wait, what? There's another ring inside of his thing, and then there's a ring on her finger? Bruh.
It proved that he
I'm
was
blown
the
away.
right guy for me.
I am blown
My
away.
parents really adore my fiance, and they are still as supporting and loving as they were all through
Hey, this
my
fiance
childhood.
needs to get the mom and dad some new
Honestly,
wardrobe.
I feel blessed.
They've been
no
wearing
matter
the same
what
thing
skin
for
color
years.
I have. Mark and I are getting married soon, and we'll have a spring wedding. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and check out other videos in the channel.
You know what? Let's see what the people in the comments have to say about this video. We haven't done that in a while. I had long, curly, pitch black hair. Animation, blue hair. I used to be black, now white. Michael Jackson, welcome to the club. Trump, I used to be white, now I'm orange. We're having a spring wedding, Corona, you thought. Oh man. We're actually gonna check out one more video of today's episode. This also comes from Storytime Animated. This one's called I Wish I Never Googled My Family.
I had an ordinary life with an ordinary family and ordinary goals.
How about you have an ordinary shut up?
But all that changed after I Googled my family.
Oh yeah, that works. You just Google family and then your family happens to show up. Real true story animated.
I wish I never did it. But let me start from the beginning. The very beginning.
Okay.
I was born on the
thanks.
2nd of November.
I mean, I would
grew up
assume
with
that
my
you would start
parents
from
in
the
a small
beginning.
town with
Dog, you're like 12 years old. Get off your dad's back and walk with your own two legs.
a really small population. I had no siblings, no grandparents, no aunts or uncles.
Nothing.
But I didn't care. I had my parents, and that was all that mattered.
Stop the cap.
My parents never really told me about my ancestors. I knew I was a mixed Italian-American, but that was the full extent of my knowledge.
Okay.
Other than that, I had no clue who my grandparents and other relatives were. Why didn't I have any grandparents or relatives? How come my parents never spoke about them? I decided I would ask my parents about them. Why couldn't we be like a normal family? Why couldn't I have loads of relatives to bring me gifts?
Yeah. That's what you sound like, a little bitch.
That night, I walked right up to my parents. "Where are my grandparents?" I asked. They looked at each other confused.
They're dead!
"What?" said my mom.
What?
"How come I don't have any
What are those?
grandparents? Everyone else at school does." "Oh," began my dad. "Well," he seemed to hesitate, but then he continued. "They passed away, Franco." I paused. "But what about my aunts and uncles? What about
They
my
all
cousins?"
passed away. The same day.
My mom spoke up.
They're all in the same grave.
Well, your father and I don't have any brothers or sisters, so that's why you don't have any aunts or uncles.
Who the hell is she looking at right now? She looking east and west, bro. She looking west right now. Like, she's scaring me by how spaced out she's looking right now. You can tell that she's lying by the direction of her eyes. They go both ways.
I'm sorry, Franco. I
This
was
girl
disappointed,
asexual.
but I believed them. It was a shame I didn't have any more relatives, but it didn't bother me too much. So for several years after that, I ignored it, and I never brought it up with my parents again.
Good. Keep
Until
your mouth
that
shut,
is
capiche?
when I saw that news
He's
article.
Italian, so
But
capiche?
more on that later.
You keep it
Something
shut.
strange about my childhood was the
I'll get
fact
my
that we
guns on
moved
you, my
around
Tommy
a
gun.
lot.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
And when I say a lot,
Capiche?
I mean a lot. We moved around yearly, sometimes even monthly, and I really struggled to make close friends.
Do you move around daily,
I just
though?
didn't have enough time
Stop
to
being a
form a
bitch.
close enough bond with anyone. My parents always told me we moved around a lot because of their jobs, and I believed them. By the time I was 15, we had moved homes 50 times.
God
50.
damn.
I didn't realize this was strange until one of my friends asked me where I used to live before, and I told him I lived a lot of places. He asked me how many, and when I said 50, he freaked out. What? He said in disbelief. What's wrong? I asked, oblivious. That's crazy, dude. Why?
That's
Because
crazy,
you
bro.
never even have time to live your life.
That's
You're too busy
crazy,
moving
dude.
around. Why do you even have to move that often anyway? It's for my parents' work. What do they do?
They
I
kill!
paused. Come to think of it, I had no idea what they did for work. Was it something to do with accounting?
They
or
put food on your
marketing?
table.
But
Just
if I was being
accept
completely
it, okay?
honest, I was just guessing.
Like, this
In
kid,
truth,
man.
I had no
He's so
clue.
whiny.
And actually, when I thought about it more, my friend was right. It was pretty weird how often we moved. That wasn't normal. And what kind of job did my parents have that forced them to move 50 times? I confronted them about it, but then seemingly out of nowhere,
Wait,
they
wait,
started
wait.
yelling at me.
Wait,
telling me
wait. I'm sorry, but who the fuck is that guy? Who in the actual fuck is that guy? That is not the dad from earlier. This is the dad, right? That's the dad. Who in the fuck is this Mr. Mustachio looking ass dude right here?
I confronted them about it, but then seemingly out of nowhere, they started yelling at me, telling me to
Damn.
mind my own business.
Yeah, mind your own business.
What had I done wrong?
I'm on the
All
parent
I
side.
wanted
Like,
was
you
to
need to
know
stop
what
being
their
a nosy
jobs
little
were.
shit.
Didn't I have the right to know why they had to uproot me from my life and force me to move every few months?
Not really.
Didn't I deserve to know at least? What were they hiding? Who did they really work for? Were my grandparents actually dead, or was it just a lie?
That's not even your real
For the next
dad.
few
Who
months,
is that guy?
Those thoughts and
That's a
concerns
totally different dude.
swarmed in my head. My trust for my parents started to waver, and I started to question every time we moved from home. It just didn't make any sense. But then, everything changed when I went onto Google.
Do
I
it.
had a history assignment where I had to research on events surrounding the mafia in the U.S. I was
I was
online
right.
when I came across this
I was
article on
right.
this mob boss or something.
I was just being
He was
stupid
part of
like
the
I
mafia,
always am,
and
but
he
I'm
was now
right.
in jail for murder
Wow.
and countless other
It
criminal
feels
charges.
good to be right.
They showed a picture of him, and I nearly
myself on the
choked
back
on my
for
cup
that.
of coffee. I called my dad and showed him the picture. When he came into the room and glanced at my computer screen, he nearly tripped over from the initial surprise. But he soon covered up his mistake by acting dismissive, but it didn't go past me. I saw his father.
Most wanted? This dude in the prison cell is the most wanted man in America.
I saw the break in his facade. I knew he recognized this man. Was it because it was his father?
He takes out
When
a
I asked him
silencer
who
and
this
he's like,
was,
kid,
he told me not to
shut
think
your
about it.
ass up.
I was still suspicious, though. I decided to research a lot about it. What I
You
found
didn't see anything.
blew
Clear that
my
history.
mind. Another article showed this man
He's
had a
still
son
most wanted,
who
bro.
had gone missing ever since his father was put into jail.
That's the only time it says wanted, too. It says wanted on these two posters,
Yeah.
but on the other one it said wanted.
His son had also worked
I'm
in the
weak,
mafia,
bro.
and he had been notorious for
who
being
the
the father's
What's this
legacy.
kid think he is?
But with him gone,
Put that
the
down before
family
you hurt
business
somebody.
was thrown out of balance. They were searching for
kid,
this
bro,
son,
I'm gonna-
and to this
I
day,
gotta-
they were still searching for this son.
This
He
kid
would be in his
swears,
40s now.
bro.
When they showed a picture
God.
from when this son was around
My
my age,
boss's son,
I
yeah,
literally
okay.
felt my mind
That's
explode.
that.
It was
that's
me.
right. Yeah.
It looked
okay.
exactly like me.
My
But that
boss's
wasn't
son.
possible. I wasn't alive
The
40
heck?
years ago.
What's up with this
But
kid?
then, sudden realization hit me like a punch to the face.
Someone really
It
needs to
looked like
punch
me
this kid in the
because
face.
this was my father. My father was the son of a mob boss. That night at dinner, I confronted them at the dinner table.
Uh-oh, he's
I
gonna
told
be
them all
sleeping
about
with
the
the
mafia
fishes.
and the article I had seen, and Dad's picture. How he was wanted for murder. My parents were shocked, but then their expressions hardened. They didn't answer me at first. They just looked at each other, and a silent agreement seemed to pass through them. To this day, it still scares me about the fearless look on their faces.
Oh, they didn't even say anything?
We'll explain it all to you, said Dad. I blinked again. Wait, what? No, you're right, he said. It's time you knew the truth. They stood up from the table and walked into the hall.
They took him to the Batcave or something.
I was still surprised by their sudden leniency.
This is his superhero origin story.
They headed to the attic.
Oh my
Was there
God.
something hidden up there?
I'm right.
Any clues? Newspapers from Dad's past? What could possibly
He's gonna
be
turn
up
into
there?
Gatman.
They climbed the ladder and disappeared into the darkness. When I followed them, I couldn't see a thing. Where are you? I called out.
Where are
Then
you? There's like
I
barely
heard
any
the
space
attic
in
door
there.
Slam shut. I jumped, rushing toward its hatch. I could hear my parents below talking quickly.
Wow.
Hey, let me out, I cried. It's for your own good, sweetie, called my mom. I shook the hatch door, trying to rattle it off its hinges, but it didn't
They left him
budge.
up there?
My parents had locked me in the attic. I was
Dude,
trapped. I
this
couldn't
family
believe it.
is dope.
How could they do this to me? I couldn't even trust my own parents. Eventually, in the morning, they came back up to me. They opened the attic door, and I didn't hesitate. I flew through, sprinting down the hall.
How did you get past them?
They called at me to come back, but I
Damn, they're really running with a sense of urgency here.
wouldn't have it. No, Franco, let us explain it to you. called
Franco
Dad.
Romano. That
His
is the
voice
most
sounded so
gangster
sincere.
name from
Reluctantly,
the
I turned
wackest guy.
around. Fine, what is it?
Franco Romano.
He looked at my mom
in the
and
body
took
of a little
deep
bitch
breath
boy.
and explained.
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. His eyes were all
looked at
messed
my
up
mom.
for a second. What the heck? Where is you looking at, my guy?
And explained.
He trying to look at the
everything.
mom and the son at the same
My
time.
father hadn't murdered anyone. He
No.
had been framed.
He
A
turned it
rival gang
sideways.
had pinpointed him
Some
for their
gangster
attack,
stuff.
since he had secured a deal that hadn't worked well for them. My dad was innocent. He had been born into that mafia life, and he wanted a fresh start. That's when he met my mother. He decided to change his identity. I didn't know what to think. So my father was innocent? He hadn't murdered anyone? I wasn't sure. But then I looked into his eyes, and I believed him. I asked them why they had locked me in the attic. Why not just explain all this to me first? They said they needed to get all their stuff ready first. That's when I noticed the packed bags lying in the hallway. So we were moving again. I sighed, but it felt easier once I knew why we were moving. From that point on, we decided to keep my father's past a secret. It was for the best. We always feared what my father's father, the mob boss, my grandfather, might do. Would he betray my father? If he got out of jail, would he come searching for him? But so far, nothing has happened. We still remain under fake identities. And of course, I'm not going to tell you our real names.
Okay, then I'm done watching this video. Alright guys, but that's gonna do it for this episode of reacting to these true story animations. If you guys want me to react to any more animations across the internet, make sure you guys give this video one big fat like. And tell a friend today that Jay from the Kubz Scouts is that dude!